Hello. Am I audible? Okay, thank you. Let me just wait for a couple of minutes. Anyways, I was late for by 2 minutes, so I'll just wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll start with the second trimester. Okay. So, one more minute and we shall start with the second trimester. Good evening. Yeah. Okay. Good evening, those people who are joining. We'll just wait for 1 minute before we start with the episode for today, which is the second trimester. The first trimester is something which we discussed in our Insta live, I think, on Wednesday or Tuesday. I think Tuesday. We discussed about the first trimester from the time the zygote is formed till the time, like what happens in the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. So today we will talk about from the next 3 months, basically the 4th to 6th month of pregnancy, that is week 13 onwards. Okay, so I'll start. Those who have to join will join eventually, because not that everybody would be interested to know about second trimester unless people are planning for their family. So week 13, as usual, I have made my pointers and I will be referring to it. So week 13 is the time when your baby in your womb, they start creating urine. Okay, so they start creating urine and they start releasing the urine also in that mother's womb itself, and it mixes with the amniotic fluid in the mother's womb. So there is a lot of fluid in the mother's womb. It mixes with that amniotic fluid. The thing is, the baby also tends to suck that amniotic fluid a little bit at that point of time. Okay, that's the week 13 development. So amniotic fluid, urine mixing with the amniotic fluid, and the baby sucking it a little bit. Week 14 is the time when the baby's gender becomes very apparent, like whether it's a boy, it's a girl. Although the genitals were developed before that, but the sex becomes very apparent even in ultrasound, that they can just identify whether it's a boy or it's a girl. All right. Third week, also the important part is in the spinal cord and in the spleen, the RBC or the red blood corpuscles are being developing in the baby's spleen in the week 14. Okay, so till now we have done till week 14. Week 13 is the time when the urine is being released from the child starts releasing the urine and it mixes with the amniotic fluid, and then baby tends to suck it also. And week 14 is when the baby's gender becomes apparent, plus even in the ultrasound, plus the baby's spleen that tends to develop the RBC. Week 15 is the time when the baby's scalp pattern develops. You know, the long bones, the short bones, these bones are started to developing now. And when you do the USG at this point of time, very soon you will start noticing this development of bones in the baby. Okay. Week 16 is when the baby's eye starts moving. Okay. And the eye starts moving, but you really cannot identify it in the USG still then, because it's very, very light. You will not be able to identify it. And the ears, which was like over here, it starts moving to its original position, the baby's original position. It starts moving there. Okay. Next is week 17, when baby's toenails develop. Just imagine a little bit of toe and the nails are developing as the primary coating on that. And apart from that, the baby is becoming more active Now the baby's activity, you can understand a little bit of movement, but not that great, like not like too much of movement, but you can feel something is moving in your stomach, like rolling and kind of flipping. Something is flipping in your stomach. You can feel the movement in your stomach, in your womb, by that time, in the week 17. So week 18 is the time when baby begins to hear. They can start responding to what you say. So you have seen in many movies that you say that just if you hear something kick, and the baby starts kicking a little bit, so baby start responding to the to various sounds that they can hear through the mother. Now the thing is, it is very important, and very interesting to know that at this point of time, the first language development of the baby starts. So people think that the language development starts only after conception, only after delivery, once the baby starts, about 18 months of age or something like that. But no, the language development starts from here. So when whatever music you're listening to at this point of time, if you notice, when the baby is born, if you play the same music, the baby would respond to it, will calm down or something like that, because they can hear, they can respond to that music, they can understand all of that. So that is one thing. Week 19 is the time when the baby develops a coating around it, because the baby is moving in the amniotic fluid. So there are chances that this acid, this fluid, can create some abrasions in the baby's skin, because the skin is thin, very thin and transparent film like. Still now, its proper skin is not yet developed. So it is covered by a cheesy coating which is called vernix caseosa. Okay, vernix caseosa. So it covers the baby's body, so that the amniotic fluid does not impact the skin of the baby. And at this particular point of time, if it's a girl child, then the uterus is developing for the girl child at this point, week 19. So the uterus and the vagina, they are developing for the girl child in week 19. Okay. Week 21, the highlight is the baby can now start sucking their thumb. They are rhythmically waking up and sleeping in the mother's womb. They get startled by some noise around. They have started to respond to mother's commands. All of that already starts from week 19. Also, there is body hair, the body hair, too much of, you see that newborn baby are born with a lot of body hair, which kind of goes away once they are born, and slowly and steadily. This is called lanugo. So this lanugo is like the coating. It's like a more so coating on the skin. So when they are born, no wear and tear, these kind of things happen. So that is called lanugo. That is also formed during the week 19th. Then week 21, sorry. Then comes week 22. Now in week 22, you can just feel the movement of the baby quite, like everybody can touch your stomach and they can feel the movement of the baby by week 22. So you can see, like, you have already crossed halfway of your pregnancy by now. So this also marks the development of eyebrows for the baby. You can lanugo is developing, so eyebrow hair, hair on the scalp, all of these are developing a little bit by bit. And also the fat in the baby's body is developing at this point of time, which will help the baby starts maintaining their body temperature by this time. So the fat development also happens during week 22. It is because of this reason, as well as the inner temperature of the mother's body, that when a baby is born, they tend to be kept in the lap or kept wrapped around, so that the same temperature is given to them when they had what they had inside of the mother's womb. Otherwise, that sudden change of temperature, as it is when they come out of mother's womb, that there is a change of temperature, but the sudden too much of change can lead to a lot of complications. And by week 22 for boys, then their genitals starts developing. Okay, week 23, you can now have fingerprints and footprints. That also starts developing by week 23. Now at this point of time, your baby is actually eating food, swallowing things from whatever you are eating. So you can also feel that your baby is hiccuping, like hitchy type of thing, or they're kind of causing jerky movement, that you're doing work, suddenly they cause jerky movement and you feel something like this inside. So those kind of things starts happening, like they basically they're becoming more active, they're becoming more responsive to what is happening inside of them. Okay. And week 24, the skin starts developing, proper skin, thick skin starts developing, the skin becomes wrinkled a little bit, all these things starts happening. And week 25 is when the baby starts identifying the mother's voice. They will now, you have seen when the baby is born, no matter who is saying, the moment the mother calls, the baby starts looking like this when their eyesight develops. It is because they are very accustomed to that voice since week 25. They start responding to the mother's voice. They can understand this is their mother speaking to them and somebody else is different. So they can identify between the different voices. Okay. Week 26, so that was week 25. Week 26, the baby's lungs starts developing by now. So soon they will start breathing on their own. Till now, everything is being supplied by the mother. But then now the baby will start developing their lungs, and slowly they will start with their respiratory process completely. And week 27 marks the end of second trimester. Now, by this time, your baby has grown in size, they have gained body fat, which will also help their skin to look smoother, because previously it was like a thin transparent film, but more fat is forming, the skin looks like more like skin. Okay. Now, compared to the first trimester or the last trimester, second trimester is more or less goes more easy on the mother, especially if they don't have any other previous complications. So at this point of time, you might still feel a little bit of fatigue. Morning sickness might have gone down by now, but for few people it might still continue, and but it will go away. The fatigue is still there though. Okay. It is also possible that at this time the mothers may feel more forgetful and disorganized than before, because their body size is increasing. There are a lot of bodily the changes, they start feeling the body changes, because till third fourth week you just vomit, you feel pukish, you feel nauseatic, all these things are there. But by fifth month onwards, your belly is growing and you become a little disorganized, plus all the things that are happening inside your body, you may tend to become a little disorganized or forgetful. And you may also feel a lot of emotions about things that you weigh to, or like you might just feel too emotional, too angry, or too this, too that. Usually what people associate with PMS. So those kind of too much of hormones are developing, because you have your own hormones, plus the baby is developing their own cells, everything together is making it a little bit difficult for the mother. All right. So at this point of time, one of the major issue that can come up is negative body image. That is one thing that starts impacting the mother a little bit, because when their belly starts growing, it is becoming difficult for them to fit into their old dresses, and they will start gaining weight, of course, when they have conceived. So that can lead to a very I have seen many women, they are suffering from very negative self-image from the second trimester, because of the stretch marks that starts appearing and the body shape that is changing. And they are just becoming different than what they used to be, they feel. And that can also lead to depression and anxiety. So as I said, so from the very first trimester, if you feel that these kind of tendencies you seem to have, it is extremely important to be in touch with any professional who will help you to remain calm and be positive throughout this pregnancy period, because otherwise this will become like a very horrifying experience, and that horrific experiences you are passing on to your baby, and genetically you are passing on depression or anxiety to your baby. Also, you have to be very, very mindful about the environment in which you are here, because your baby can now hear the sounds, they can understand your emotions, they can start feeling your feelings. So you would see that the environment in which you are, if it's a very peaceful environment, the baby's growth and delivery, everything happens very peacefully. But if the environment is very stressful, there is too much of arguments and everything, that impacts the growth of the baby, that impacts leads to complications, and also impacts the connection between the mother and the baby. And you start, although the baby is inside you, you start becoming very detached from the baby, and that is also another, uh, what should I say, that is one of the major tipping point of your postpartum depression, that can set in. So be very, very mindful of this thing. The reason we talk about trimesters in a mental health page is, it is not only about physical, it is also about psychological. All right. So that is pretty much about the second trimester, and we are left with the last 3 months, the final trimester, which is very, very important, because all the organs are now being completely developed, and if it is not done properly, you can have facial disfiguration, you can have a lot of issues in your physical disfiguration, right? So we are going to come back with that live on 22nd, that is next week Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that. I think next week Wednesday, 23rd is the time. So till then, if you feel this was helpful, feel free to share to those mothers or those women who are expecting, so that they are aware and they know what is happening in their body and they can take care of themselves. Okay, so thank you everyone. Please take care of each other. Thank you.